Yeah, thank you, Lior. Thank you for having us. Yeah, myself and Celsius. Yeah, we have a few participants here, so that's good. Those are the guys that are asking the questions. One of them. So yeah, again, the foundation is crypto slash cryptography, cryptocurrency and cryptography from the military and then from the private sector, dealt really mainly with cryptography and everything that's connected to that in the public and private sector, cyber intelligence, a lot of investigations here in Israel and abroad in the US as part of two companies, K2 Intelligence and Blue Voyant. And yeah, and at Celsius for the past year and 8 months, 9 months, something like that. And yeah, again, we're going to talk about the decentralized finance, the crypto space, which is here. Yeah, it's happening now. Yeah, not a year from now or not 2 years from now. So this is really a hot industry and sector for all security, financial, infrastructure topics. We'll talk about a lot of them again. So not only application, of course, infrastructure and how you protect digital assets, yeah, and how you interact with clients and institutions, and we're going to talk about it. So before we go into the threat landscape and to the security solutions, we're going to talk about what is DeFi, decentralized finance, what is crypto even to some sense. So first of all, the analogy here, yeah, shows that really the current financial system with all the big banks and fintech and high frequency trading and everything and amazing systems, yeah. But at the end of the day, they're very, very centralized. And you could say that the whole system currently is based on Excel, yeah. And we're not even, exaggerating. That's the thing. And with crypto, the shift, if we keep this analogy, the shift was to move from Excel, yeah, to Google Sheets and Google Docs, you could say, and then Google Sheets and Google Docs on steroids, meaning creating something that's very, very transparent, very, very immune to attacks, yeah, something that can just evolve and create a revolution, yeah, within the current financial system. And this is exactly what DeFi and also CeFi, centralized finance, we'll talk about that. This is what it does. So really a few points about decentralized finance. You see it here, both the centralized Web 2.0, which has a dealer, a middleman, or a middle person, the decentralized Web 3, yeah, and that's you could say the tech term or the slogan for it, doesn't have a dealer. It's not centralized. It's very distributed, yeah. It doesn't have one point of failure, yeah. And it's based, as you see here, on blockchain technology, cryptography that's tested. I do want to point one specific topic, yeah. Crypto is relatively new, the applications, yeah, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Ethereum and the rest, but the foundation is 30, 40, 50 years old, yeah, and tested. And those are the cryptography primitives, you say, from hash functions, digital signatures, encryption and such. And that's why it creates such a robust, yeah, and safe and secure environment. And you could say that the bottom line is that Bitcoin, its blockchain and such, hasn't been hacked, yeah, since it was created. There were business logic attacks here and there, again, like in every sector, every system. But the bottom line, this network hasn't been hacked, and it's just up and running, yeah, since it was created. The transparency, like we said, is key. We'll talk about it more. The math part, that's the cryptography. Protocols, we'll talk about that. Again, protocols that are connected, and you create chains of protocols and chains of operations which are complete and safe. And from the human or from the people perspective, it just gives access to financial services, banking or new banking services to people that till now were unbanked. They didn't have access to the current financial industry, or they didn't want to have access or connect or be involved with the current financial sector. And this is important, yeah. Giving this access, giving the unconditional access. You can move to the next slide. So really, what decentralized finance at the end of the day does is take the current financial instruments that we all know from Wall Street and other markets globally, and it just puts them in a secure, transparent, auditable, yeah, way on these blockchains. So you could buy crypto, you could earn rewards or yield on assets that you stake or that you put in various services. You could take out loans, you put crypto collateral, then take dollars or take stable coins or other types of crypto. You can swap between coins. And the key point here is that you take things that have been in Wall Street and they didn't favor, you could say, us, the clients, meaning when you put money in a bank today, you get 0 interest, give or take, 0.1. So that's irrelevant in this day and age. Again, you pay the banks to hold your money, and DeFi changes the equation and improves this. Now, again, if you have any questions, feel free. We can answer now, after, so feel free. So when we say DeFi or dealing with cryptocurrency platforms, there are various ways to go. One of the things, or one of the applications you could see here today, this is a specific application. Again, see at the bottom, again, we're going to talk about finance. We're going to talk about assets and digital assets. This is not financial advice in any way. With that, again, this is already happening. This is already a lot of people, millions and more, are participating, and billions of dollars in assets and digital currency are deployed to these platforms. So when you say a DeFi platform, this is an example one that you just go to their site. Go one slide up for a second. You go up to their site and you connect your wallet. Your wallet could be an online wallet, could be a ledger, a physical wallet, and such. There are various types of wallets, cold, hot, online, warm wallets, and such. And there's no login here. There's no authentication. The only authentication is a cryptography-based authentication with your keys that are held in your specific wallet or in the seed phrase and such that you remember, that you save aside. And then you can already cryptography-based interact, do the operation that we said before, borrow money, deploy assets and gain yield, interest for them and such. So today there are hundreds of these. We'll talk about doing testing, due diligence, again, not to fall for fraud and such in these platforms. So go. So in addition to the mobile or cold wallets or DeFi platforms that are online, this is another example of a desktop application you download and then you fill it up with specific coins. Here specifically, this belongs to the Cardano network, and then you can stake your coins. It helps secure the network, and for this operation, this staking operation, you get yield, you get interest in these coins. That's a reward that you get. So this is another desktop type application. Again, the crypto is very, very solid here, but when we do testing and such, and we'll talk about some of the risks, of course, there are growing pains of business logic attacks and application security, and you could expose secrets and other things that we find when we do the diligence, which we'll explain and give a few examples. So again, same as in the regular industry, just a lot of new financial instruments, a lot of new platforms which need testing, which organizations like us, Celsius, and private people, good to do due diligence, good to do the testing, monitoring, understand with what you're interacting. Let's move on. So before we talk about more solutions and such, again, the pitch here, you could say, is really from centralized. We went to Web 2.0 and now Web 3. You could see the evolution and the revolution from Excel-based systems, give or take, to the cloud and mobile and web servers, and then to distributed systems, blockchains, file systems, which are split and distributed peer-to-peer systems. This is the shift, and again, this big whale or big fish is slowly eating, you could say, the smaller ones and the older technologies. Some are being, of course, adopted to this new distributed world, but a lot are being left behind. So as a company, and this also, it starts to answer the framework question that was just posted. As a company, when we define the decentralized finance security and crypto frameworks or security, we need to be the best at all the topics that you see here. We need to understand all the types of blockchains, layer 1, layer 2, the various networks that are being brewed and deployed at the end of the day. We need to understand the types of coins. Yeah, we need to be professionals on the blockchain, coin deployment, yeah, distributed digital assets realm. Then we need to understand what cybersecurity, intelligence, the legacy things that we all have been working on for the past 10, 15, 20 years. We need to understand cryptography. And like in any sector and any topic, and again, this is hot in cybersecurity and others, we need to understand asset management. So instead of managing servers and devices and such, we manage the digital assets, how they're deployed, what yield or money they're making, on which platforms are they, in which strategy they're deployed. Again, a lot of technical financial things that we may get into, but bottom line, you need to understand where your assets are in addition to where your devices, blockchains, wallets, and keys are. So asset management talks about assets themselves, talks about keys, talks about servers, talks about other technical assets which contribute at the end of the day to your attack surface, internal, external, and things that are deployed. And these also talk about, again, you see here, transaction monitoring, we'll talk about that a bit, anti-money laundering, that's compliance, security code scans. A lot of things are legacy things. Some have adopted to new languages or languages that are specific to blockchain technology like Solidity and such. And again, we adapt the new technologies with new, or you could say old techniques. Yeah. So this is really the balance. We need to be balanced on all these topics. They need to be green within our framework, and we'll talk about other topics that stem from these, but we need to be good at these. Celsius as an organization, yeah, we're not a bank. We're a financial institution that deals with digital assets. This is give or take how we're built. On one side, we're a centralized finance organization, meaning we have regular databases and regular mobile web apps, transactions and stuff, ledgers. And on the other side, we're a decentralized finance organization. That's the more purple pieces that you see here. So we have to deal with both. We have all the relevant security controls, endpoint protection and API security, VPNs, cloud security, and more, SIM systems response. And we need to understand, again, how CFI, centralized finance, legacy banks, or institutions, and again, we're not a bank, work, and how these decentralized finance platforms that we saw before, and we'll see a bit more, how they work, how to interact with them, how to secure them, how to do due diligence on them. That's our goal. And one of the things, again, cryptography-based that we emphasized here, that's called multi-party computation. At the end of the day, that helps protect assets at rest and in motion, because in all these arrows, in all of them at the end of the day are bilateral or bidirectional. You need to control the flow of funds. You need to control the flow of assets. And multi-party computation at the simplest level says that in order to move crypto, 2 people, 3 people or more, a specific quorum or a defined quorum need to sign on the transaction, similar to what you see in the movies, but more interactive and more technical and integrity-wise, when 2 people, in order to launch the missiles in the submarine, Denzel Washington, another guy, most of the times, they need to meet and connect their keys, yeah? So this is what secret sharing or multi-party computation is, just at a higher scale, a lot of transactions, a lot of signing, yeah? And at the end of the day, in order to move assets, you need to digitally sign some kind of message, yeah? And that's done in a distributed way, meaning the keys don't reside in one place. We can move on. So when we look, and this is again part of the framework and everything, when we look at the key security risk, the first thing, like we just mentioned, is crypto key compromise on our side and also on the DeFi platforms, on the various blockchains that we interact with. So in order to deal with that, distributed or non-existing keys at the end of the day, that's the secret. coding errors, security vulnerabilities, same give or take as the current market, what was described till now, just in different contexts and different languages, yeah, at a different scale, different maturity at times of products and services. The next 2 points, this brings in financial expertise. At the end of the day, you need to have financial people, accountants and such, or people that understand trading and how the markets work in this sector on the blockchains in order to find these business logic errors or business logic bypasses or financial mistakes that exist or are inherent in the various protocols and such. So in addition to technical people and good cyber people, good cyber intelligence and such, like I said, asset management and accounting people or trading people, professionals that understand how money works, how crypto and digital assets work, and to see if there are any manipulations in protocols. And the rest of the things, again, very, very similar to what we have today, misuse of third-party libraries, protocol systems, and within these platforms, we'll give a few examples now. Really, a lot of them are just not transparent. They say they're distributed, but not. They don't do security tests. And then when you put your assets there, as an institution like us or as a private person, you need to understand, yeah, is this platform tested? What have they validated, if at all? And this gives you comfort and such. Move on. So we'll talk about a few attacks, yeah, and then we'll go into more solutions. Attack that happened recently. Here specifically, 60 million, you could say, dollars were stolen at the end of the day. And the thing here was that the smart contract, that's the algorithm that defines how their network, how the coin and asset interaction, which coins exist, how you withdraw, where you put them or deposit them and such, that was hacked, yeah, and additional functions, yeah, were added, or here specifically swapped, yeah, functions that create new tokens or functions that burn current tokens. They were swapped with malicious functions, again, same as the functions you'll have in the regular world, just for crypto and financial operations. And the goal here, or the attack vector more specifically, is that probably the attacker stole the administrator's private key, yeah, the paid network private key, which probably wasn't distributed or sharded and secret sharing methods and such, and that created the exploit in the network and the swapping of the functions within the smart contract. Yeah, so this is an example attack. Again, we'll talk about some of the due diligence in a second. Move on. Yeah. Another attack vector that we see, and this is part of the audits that we do, get to know the various platforms, get to know the players, any report or audit report. And again, in this world, transparency is key, meaning every platform that's launched and similar, the key ones, yeah, they present, they display. I did an audit report, security audit by a known firm and such. This is my badge of honor. It's important, yeah. So some of the trends that we see, because there are a lot of platforms that are launched here and then, we'll see more examples in a second. Some present fake audit reports. So this is another thing that you need to be aware of and not take as a private person, and also as an institution like us, or as a company that serves institutions, not to take anything blindly. Understand what you're looking at, read the reports, understand who did the audit and such, and advance that. So one of the things that we see a lot, and this is part of the security testing and checks, and also the due diligence that we do, again, as a company like us and also as private people. A few months ago, there was this trend, and it's still happening, that a lot of the code here is open source, if not all of it, yeah, and people can just launch new DeFi platforms and new exchanges or new distributed exchanges in 10 minutes. They fork the code and then launch the operation. So there were a lot of distributed exchanges or DeFi platforms at the end of the day on the Binance Smart Chain, yeah, that people forked each other's code. They didn't change specific parameters. A lot of the code wasn't tested. And then there was this wave of hacked decentralized exchanges or DeFi platforms that just stemmed from the same code that was reused and reused and reused, or a subset or example platforms. And then this caused, you could say, a lot of noise, in various sectors within the crypto sector about such problems. Again, these are things that we avoid. These are things that we don't deal with even. Super important to do these tests and such. So some of the key security controls and activities, and starting to answer more and more of the framework question. Again, we use the regular and known security frameworks such as ISO and NIST and NISA and Cloud Security Alliance and more secure development lifecycle. We use the common ones. We merge and we mix and match, so we have something that's ideal and relevant to us and also strong. It all starts, and this is something that you hear all the time, do your own research before you deploy assets that you will lose, that you're willing to lose more specifically. Do your own research, do your due diligence. That's the key thing. Mostly non-technical due diligence, meaning who are the people that you see here at the end, who are the developers, have they done audits, how's the security posture of their code, how's their GitHub repository, how's their community. You can know by the size of their Twitter group or Discord group or whatever, if it's legit even, If there are 10 people in a Discord group, you won't put your money over there, for sure. That's a pro tip, as you say. And then you look at other topics. Again, do they support key sharding, crypto key security? Do they do security testing, monitoring? And we apply these things as well, of course. We verify and add MPC, multi-party computation. We do testing and ongoing monitoring at all the levels that were described here even before. Application level scanning, infrastructure, all the due diligence, technical analysis that was mentioned here before, and more. Okay. So that's that. Two more points regarding two specific examples regarding the framework, and then we'll go to questions. When we talk about pen test, attack simulation, risk and remediation orchestration, again, like any company that has internal full-time employees that do penetration testing and such, bug bounty, consultants, these three pillars are very, you could say, we invest in them and very extensive. And specifically also bug bounty. Some is real, some is fraud, of course. But bottom line, we utilize these three pillars as much as we can. Internal pen testers, bug bounty, like I said, consultants, we use it really to the maximum in order to measure ourselves with the various activities here, PT, red teaming, attack simulations. On two pillars, the width of the pillars doesn't mean what's more important or less, but one, of course, on internal systems, product, services, integration, and then we have the whole automation of creating reports and opening tickets. I didn't mention the name of the system here, just for System X. And it's very important to have this open channel internally with the developers, with the DevOps teams, with the product managers and more, and have this remediation orchestration because we do a lot of testing internally. And same for the external systems that we deal with, vendor systems, the DeFi platforms, understand the findings, create the report, create the diligence. A lot of times there's no one to send the reports to, even the DeFi platform specifically. You may send, but they'll look at it, maybe they'll fix, maybe not, depends. Some we know less, but that's a different story. So these are the two main pillars that are key to our security program, to any security program here specifically. And again, the vendor system, DeFi platforms, very, very integral part of what we have and what we need to test. Like I said, with the whole army here above, really, the FTEs, full-time employees, bug bounty, consultants, and others. Again, anyone from the community that may raise problems and such, super important at all levels. So that's one example. And another example, we can move on. And another example, and this is more at the blockchain specific transaction and anomaly detection. The data science part is, like I said, when assets move, when people interact with blockchain, when people try to defraud us and stuff like that, again, internally, externally, this is the key thing. Monitoring the transactions, instead of monitoring the HTTPS or web interaction flow, in order to understand who's trying to knock out or knock off or whatever, the server who's trying to intrude. When you look at these DeFi platforms, when you look at various wallets, internal and external, and you analyze the types of transactions, you understand about if they're legit, less legit, how important is it to raise an alert and such. So here specifically, we're talking about an operation that could be external on DeFi platforms or internally for our clients, coin swapping. And the point is to have very strong data analytics, data science that humans, of course, can't analyze when a person does multiple loans and then multiple inbound transactions, outbound transactions, and then the swap in order to create fraud. Here specifically, you say margin trading, meaning they buy for X on one place and on our platform, other platforms sell for Y, and then make this arbitrage or delta. These are types of fraud, anomalies, automation, bot automation to see how many inbound, outbound within, you see here, 24-hour time span and such, how many transactions are made. And then we also understand, is it a human? Is it an algo trader, you could say? Is it a bot? And then we analyze the risk. We have various scoring methods. And then we really can highlight internally for our system, for our network, and also for the DeFi platforms that we work with. Is it legitimate? Is it less legitimate? Something that we should block and such. Okay, so that's an example. And that's that, yeah. If you have any questions.
Okay, so first of all, very interesting topic. I heard somewhere, Shiran, that another side of innovation, the other side of innovation is security and cybersecurity. And I think here in the blockchain, I think the innovation and security are starting to become as one. Like in the blockchain, all the new encryption size. So it's a new field, a new innovated, and when there is an innovation, there is also always breaches and attackers that want to attack, and vulnerabilities, of course. And we as a security professional want to protect against those. I have a question actually, Shiran. As part of your work, what will be the most common attack on blockchain infrastructure, or do you see any trends in these vulnerabilities or kind of attacks, or what you will recommend to start with, even in order to protect the process?
So before I answer that, just a very quick point related to the innovation. We talk about a lot. Even today, we talked internally. We're not only in the business of defending. There's a cliche, security is a business enabler, but here it's really real because at the end of the day, we need to approve the new coins and new platforms and asset deployment and more. So security at the end of the day, very, very integral to the business. Regarding attack vectors, of course, for private people and also for organizations, how keys are managed. Okay, that's one thing. Security of credentials, security of keys, security of the secrets that protect assets. That's one thing. The second thing, it's more of a recommendation. When you go on Twitter, a lot of people have in their profile, I have Cell token, I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, I'm an ADA or Cardano groupie and such. Again, that creates or puts a target on your back, of course. So from that perspective, if you hold a lot of crypto, even a bit of crypto, keep a low profile, don't post it all over Twitter, because at the end of the day, if they won't get your crypto, they'll get to your banking account if you have anything there, because you spend everything on crypto at the end of the day. So that's a key recommendation. For us as organization, like I said, then it's connected to the Twitter thing, potential and protecting from account takeovers and such, and awareness regarding phishing attacks and stuff like that. Yeah, social engineering of clients and such. That's something that we invest a lot in, like in the regular banking sector. Yeah, we educate about that, not to fall prey to various social engineering attacks and such, and not to click everything. And also, like I said, store credentials. Don't use an email, for example, that you use for 10 other services that may be hacked, yeah, to protect your crypto. So these are some of the basic things, yeah. But just to summarize, again, key security, that's key for sure. Again, using new and tested, and specifically tested algorithms, distributed key sharding, and security. That's one. And doing your due diligence, doing your research on the various platforms, because there's a lot of gimmicks out there, a lot of blinding lights, you could say, that, again, very sparkly. Again, it's like, this is the new generation of slot machines. Yeah, you get into a casino, everything blinks, you have bears and dragons and whatever, or Chuck Norris, and you go to what makes you tick. This is the same. This is the slot machine version of casinos, just on the web and such. So you need to be careful. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Shiran. Thank you, very insightful lecture, of course.
Sure.
We will have time also in the end of the meetup. The panelists will stay, of course, and answer your questions. So if you have any question, write them down in the chat. We will answer, of course, but in order to keep time, I want to proceed to the next lecture. So thank you very much, Shiran. Very insightful.